There's a lot of arcs in One Piece. Some good, some not as good, and I figured that it'd be fun to look back at all of them and see what the best and worst parts of each arc is. These picks are just going to be my personal feelings on each arc, so if you have different feelings on them, then too bad, because what I say goes. Romance Dawn. I like Shanks' introduction, and it offers a great look into the world, but I don't like how the anime turned this into a flashback and didn't show it till episode 4. Orange Town. Introduces the future king of the pirates, Buggy. And Buggy is bae, so Although I did not care about the dog. Gaimon. Perfection. There is no flaws in this arc whatsoever. Honestly, Oda peaked with this, and it's kind of just all downhill from here. Syrup Village. We get Usopp, who carries the Straw Hats in each fight he's in. So that's worth something. But I've never been really a big fan of Kuro or the Kuro Pirates at all. They're kind of lame, and Kuro's plan is kind of whack. Just kill them all. No need to worry about waiting for a year or whatever. Baratie. Now there's a lot of good stuff in this arc, but my favorite has to be Mihawk's duel with Zoro. Shows up and demolishes him, showing us how small the main cast is compared to the big boys running around the Grand Line. I wasn't big on Don Krieg though. He's just kind of another throwaway villain, and never comes back, so boo. Arlong Park. The walk to Arlong Park. So badass. And the thing I dislike is Nami robs all these poor citizens who already had their money taken from Arlong, so now they're going to be even more debt. So you just kind of screwed over everyone right now, Nami. So what the flip, bitch? Logtown. The best thing from this arc was how all of the All-Stars in the East Blue gather up and watch as Luffy avoids getting executed by lightning falling right on him. Also, Dragon's entrance was pretty cool. My least favorite thing was the fact that the whole bar scene isn't canon. Seeing Roger's execution in full was awesome, and while they show it way later in the anime, they also place all the warlords in the crowd, which just makes the world feel smaller, so not a big fan of that change. Reverse Mountain. Best part? Crocus. My man is a goat through and through. Worst part? The abuse my man Laboon goes through. Stop hurting him, he's a good boy! Whiskey Peak. I thought it was funny how Vivi revealed Mr. Zero's identity to the Straw Hats. Quite humorous, I must say. But the fight between Luffy and Zoro was pretty dumb. Doesn't make sense for them to fight at all, given their established relationship, and just kind of a boring fight either way. Little Garden. Dory and Broggy were pretty cool, and the concept behind their eternal duel is quite fascinating. I did not care for Booger Boy or Lemon Lass, however. They just don't do anything for me. Drum Island. Wobble. Now, Chopper's dad. This man was a true G, and his final stand against Wapple was epic. Worst part about the arc was these fake-ass reindeers. My man has a single blue nose that is banished from the clan, just like that. Racist-ass hoes. Alabasta. Robin with a cowboy hat. Also the Karoo Squad. And the worst part is Crocodile being a stereotypical Bond villain and not finishing off anyone when he has multiple chances to, but decides, I'll let the sand do it, or I'll let the crocodiles do it. Jaya. The boy Blackbeard, given his legendary speech about dreams, has to take this spot. Come on! Shoutouts to the Plug Walk, though. Still waiting for that to be added to Fortnite. And the less than good thing would, I guess, be the Monkey Brothers. I kind of forget they exist every single time. Skypiea. When my man Eminem is styling on fools, it is always a good time. And who can forget that final clash between him and Luffy? Awesome. But before that happened, Luffy was stuck at a snake for 30 episodes and didn't even know, so that was kinda whack. Long Ring Longland. Best part? Afro Luffy. Worst part? This is the last time we see Afro Luffy. Water 7. I mean, come on, the best part has to be the confrontation between Usopp and Luffy. The tension is so palpable when you can understand where each side is coming from. This is probably one of the most realistic exchanges in the series. And the worst part is what they did to my man Tom. That's messed up. He did nothing wrong. Enies Lobby. There's a lot of good moments to pick from, but for me, it's gotta be the I Wanna Live scene. When the GOAT Sniper King burns down the flag, I have to pause to get a fresh pair of pants every time. And the scream is top notch. As for the worst part, it would have to be all the battles between CP9 and the miscellaneous Straw Hats. The only fight I care for at this point was between Luffy and Lucci, so every time they switch to another fight against a wacky throwaway henchman, I kinda lose interest. And this is a trend in the series, but it starts to get really intrusive in this arc. Thriller Bark. I had trouble deciding the best thing was either the Nothing Happened scene or the Bink Sake scene, but ultimately I'm going with Nothing Happened. Although I have no idea why, literally nothing happened. And possibly the worst thing to happen in the series was Robin refusing to dock with the others. After all the trouble they went to save you in the last arc, and you just gotta do them like that? Worst Straw Hat, trading her for Wapol. Also, apparently a friend of mine hates Perona's laugh, so I guess there's that. Sabaody. A lot of awesome stuff in this arc, but my pick is the utter defeat of the Straw Hats. Kuma blasting all the way, presumably killing them, and Luffy just bawling on the floor is chef's kiss. And if I had to pick a worst part, I guess I would say it's the part where Law and Kid watch Luffy walk up and punch a Celestial Dragon, even though they know that an Admiral will come afterwards and cause them trouble, but that's kind of just a small thing. Amazon Lily. I could say the best part was Hancock crying, or flashback, or yada yada, but I think we all know the real best part of Amazon Lily was a confirmation that yes, Luffy's Devil Fruit works on any part of his body. And the worst part is Luffy not securing the bag. Impel Down. Seeing all the baddies we've beaten throughout the series team up and break out of jail was quite awesome, and my man Bon Clay is the true MVP. What I hate about this arc is how it was the start of the crocodile is Luffy's mom theory, which is quite possibly the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, what in the world? What world does that make sense? Marineford. Now this arc is just full of all-star moments, so it's hard to pick just one. But if I had to, it's gotta be Ace dying. This entire saga has been built around saving Ace, and when it looks like things are finally looking up for our heroes, we're met with the hard reality that this is not a simple story where the good guys win and they'll go home scot-free. And I guess my least favorite thing would be the whole Squall thing. Is that his name? I think it's Squall. I'll call him Squall. Now I'm not saying it's a bad scene, and it does showcase Whitebeard's fatherly side really well, but it doesn't really move the plot along, and it's the only meh thing I can think of regarding the arc. Return to Sabaody. The best part is obviously seeing the Straw Hats reunited after training for 2 years with their new designs and power-ups. Now this complaint is a little out there, but my biggest complaint is everyone's drip. Now I actually like everyone's new designs, except for Frankie's, but as far as their clothes go, they just don't do it for me. Usopp's baggy-ass pants, whack. Brooke's less dapper attire, whack. Nami and Robin's hoe outfits, whack. And this would be fine, usually they change outfits every arc. But unfortunately for me, these designs are what's all on the marketing nowadays, and they're never going away. Yippee. Fishman Island. Not gonna lie, not one of my favorite arcs, but I suppose my favorite part would be Luffy calling Big Mom on his new iPhone 15 and telling her that this is my land, you stupid bitch. Classic-based Luffy moment. And my least favorite part is Sanji's nosebleeds. Now, I've never been a fan of Sanji's Sid bitch in the past. Think it kind of ruins his character a lot at a time. But in the new world, it just gets way out of control and it's never funny. Punk Hazard. Law and Luffy teaming up, beginning one of the best bromances in the series. Yeah, the Eddie brothers were bad though. Enough said. Dressrosa. Doflamingo in general was awesome in his arc, and his flashback was especially nice. Definitely my favorite villain in the show. And I could bring up the length of the arc, the animation quality, or the fact that Rebecca and Kiros don't really beat anyone important, but the worst part of the arc was Senior Pink not joining the crew. Extremely major L. Zoe. Best part, Raizo's safe. Worst part, Raizo's ugly. Whole Cake Island. Easily gotta be the Luffy Katakuri fight. I would argue it's the best in the series. Can't say I'm a fan of Jinbei, still not joining the crew though. Like, dog, you really didn't need to do us like that. Like, come on, just hop aboard! Reverie. And they all bowed down to the one above all. It's a pretty small and baller arc overall, so the only bad thing I could say is what the anime did and inserted flashbacks that took up most of the episode, so that's very cool. And now we're at the big boy, Wano. Considering this is the longest arc to date, it's hard to pick just one thing as the best, but ultimately, I have to go with the Oden flashback. Not only did we get to see Whitebeard and Roger in their prime, we get a whole bunch of massive reveals, including Roger finding the One Piece, but also Oden is just a Chad through and through. And my least favorite part about the arc is probably its length. It's absolutely crazy how long Act 3 lasts when it could have been shortened dramatically. Most of it is taken up by giving the Straw Hats more meaningless fights that we already know where they're gonna win. Also, shoutouts to Kinemon staying alive after getting killed like 5 times in Act 3 alone. And that last reason with the whole Punk Hazard thing was just stupid as hell. And finally, we arrive at the current arc in the manga, Egghead. Now, this is still ongoing at the time of me making this, so things can change, but so far, my favorite thing has been the reveal of Vegapunk himself. We've known about this character's existence for so long, and finally seeing him on screen really gave me the message that this is the final saga. And the biggest thing I don't like about this arc is how much it's jumping from one event to the other, while not really showing those events in full. So much is happening on Egghead already, but then we randomly cut to Blackbeard fighting Hancock and Blackbeard fighting Law, that kid getting dicked down by Shanks, and Garp and Kobe's whole arc, all while so much stuff is happening on Egghead that it's just too much information. I still really don't understand why Stacy's helping the Straw Hats, to be honest. Could be because I'm reading it weekly, so some information is slipping my mind, or I'm just missing something, but I still knew what was going on in the Whole Cake and Wano, so I don't know if it's just a specific me problem or something with the series, but I just don't like how everything's being ordered around. And with that, that's the best and worst parts of each arc in One Piece, so feel free to let me know what your favorite or least favorite parts of this series are in the comments below. And until next time, see ya!